Hey everyone, it's Jessie G here. Welcome back to another episode of Jessie's Hangout. This is episode 16. This is all about the Scream movie trilogies. I hope you guys will enjoy the review that I have for today. If you guys haven't already seen before the show started, the copyright disclaimer, I'm going to go ahead and read it off again to you guys so that way, in case if you missed it before the show started, you are hearing it from me and everything in clip the notes version or short version. I've been having to put these in my videos due to safety reasons for my videos, for me. I've had a lot of trolls copyright a lot of my videos. I've had a lot of problems with my videos when I did gaming before I started this, so to alleviate that problem and to make it safe and to do what I need to do responsibly and respectfully for myself and for YouTube, I'm putting the copyright disclaimer in and I'm also reading it off. So without further ado, let's read this off so we can get into the review and all the juicy stuff. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as comment, criticism, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be interfering. Non-profit or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And Jessie G is having issues talking today. Sorry guys, bear with me today. Anyways, let's get on into today's topic. Today's topic is all about the Scream movie trilogy. I'm going to kind of read off a couple of things I have. We're going to get into 7 facts about the movie and then kind of give you my opinion of the movies and all that type of jazz. So let's get on into it. The first Scream movie aired in 1996, starring Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott and Drew Barrymore as Cassie. In the first clip of the movie, you'll see her. Story goes is when you first see the movie, Cassie is the one that dies first, and it kind of is supposed to be in there to throw everybody off. But basically, shorter story, it's about Sidney Prescott, who is a young teen who's dealing with her mother's death and the first anniversary of her mother's death, and things start to take a turn for the worse for her. Old secrets come to life. Demons come out of the closet after her. And not only that, she's dealing with the ghost mask killer and the Scream movies. She's dealing with him, and it gets pretty scary for her, and it affects the people and the people she loves around her. About, I want to say, a year later, Scream 2 was released in 1997, following Scream 3 years later. 12 years later, Scream 4 came out, and Sidney was up against the same ghost mask killer, who each of the killers throughout the trilogy have been different, but they've been all the same ghost face mask killer always. And then about 25 years later, Sidney and Gail and Dewey face off the mask killer for the last time. And they end up helping the first killer of the first Scream movies, who happened to have been Neve Campbell's boyfriend, Billy Loomis. If you haven't seen, before I get any more further into that, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen any of the movies, go watch them before you watch this review, just saying. She ends up helping Billy Loomis's daughter, Sam Carpenter, who happens to be the eldest daughter of her mother, and she is helping, they are helping her and her sister and supposedly Sam's boyfriend get through this horrific mass killing spree. Um, so that's my little details of how the movies were. Nev Campbell has starred in a lot of movies over the years. Um, Courtney Cox, who plays Gail Weathers, has starred in all sorts of other movies. The actor who plays Dewey Riley, he's starred in a lot of movies as well. Most of the actors and actresses throughout the Scream franchise have played in various TV shows, such as Rose McGowan from Charmed. She was also one of Sydney's friends in one of the movies, in the first movie. She ends up being one of the victims to the ghost mass serial killer dude. So that was pretty interesting. So, I'm going to go into 7 facts about Scream, and then I'm going to kind of give you guys my opinion of the movies and what I think and all that. So, here we go. First fact. Screenwriter Kelvin Wilson got the idea for the Scream movies based off of watching the documentary on the Greensville Ripper. That's where he got his idea for the Scream franchise and everything, which is pretty crazy to say the least, being based off of something that really happened. Fact number 2, the Scream 4 movie had the most highest body count of all of the movies, even 5 even. And it was pretty crazy to say the least, because it also had Julia Roberts' niece, Emma Roberts, in that one. And if you haven't watched the movies yet, go watch them before you see this. She happened to have been the masked killer. She was so obsessed with Sidney Prescott and her story that she kind of went off on this cuckoo train. So it was pretty crazy. Fact number 3, the first movie was going to be called Scary Movie, but because of the name, they decided to go with Scream, which was probably good because Scary Movie ended up becoming a different title for the movies that made fun of horror films like Scream and all them other ones. So it was probably a good thing that it became Scream instead of that. So, alright. Fact number 4. Drew Barrymore was originally going to be cast as Sidney Prescott, but she ended up taking the role as Cassie Baker instead, because they felt that putting her in as that and putting that big old scene of her facing off with that in the first scene to throw us off and to make it more scarier, and she suited that character more than Sidney, so Nev Campbell ended up getting the role as Sidney Prescott instead. Fun fact, but not so funny fact. During the filming of the scenes of Drew Barrymore's character, Cassie Baker, J.P. Jones had forgotten to unplug the phone, and Drew Barrymore accidentally called 911 for real by accident because he forgot to unplug the phone during that scene, which is pretty funny, but not so funny. So that was a little fun fact in that one. Fact number 6. When Sidney, aka Nev Campbell, ended up stabbing Billy Loomis with the umbrella, it had a retractable thing, because in movies they always have rubber or retractable things and special effects and all that. Well, the actor who played Billy Loomis, which was Unrich, he had open heart surgery. I think it was a little bit ago, but it hadn't been that long. And he had a protective vest on, because every actor always has a protective vest on when they're in scenes where they're having to do the stunts and they want to be safe and careful when they're being hit in the chest like that. Well, when Nev was going to stab him with the umbrella, the thing retracted and it missed where it was supposed to hit him, and it hit him in his own scar wound, and it caused him to actually let out a cry of pain for real. So Kelvin, the director of the movie, left that in there because it was such a real reaction that it made it so scary in that movie. So he kept it in there because of how raw it was. So he kept it in the film, which was pretty crazy to say the least. And I was really surprised. I kind of have to give the actor who played Billy Loomis credit, because it takes a lot for an actor who's in pain to still keep rolling after that incident, after the fact, and he kept going throughout the whole movie. It was like almost like the show must go on. I mean, he played that off pretty well, and I think that might have been part of the reason why the director kept it in there. So that was really cool and interesting, to say the least. Last fact number 7. Dewey Riley, the character Dewey Riley, was not supposed to survive the first movie. He was actually supposed to die in the first movie. But because he was such a good character, the director brought him back throughout the whole trilogy until his death in the 5th movie, when he died saving Sam and her sister and her so-called boyfriend, so to speak, from the ghost mask killer. He died doing what Dewey does best, and that's protecting the people he loves and protecting people he cares about and citizens of his town. And that's what he did best, and that's what Dewey did, and that's why Dewey Dewey died doing it. It was pretty a big crush for Courtney Cox's character as Gale Weathers. It was pretty rough for her and for Nev, but they finally ended the horror once and for all. You see, and also during this Scream 5 movie, you kind of see where they have been after 25 years. You kind of see what happens to Dewey and Gale's relationship. You happen to see what happens to Nev and what the town is like, especially after the incident in Scream 4. So you basically just kind of see everything re-happen again, and see where they are at. So it's pretty intense, to say the least. Those movies always keep you on your feet, and I think that's what I like about them, is that the fact that they keep you on your feet and the fact that they keep you guessing as to who's doing it. It's kind of like a murder mystery type movie in a way. It's kind of like murder mystery meets horror films in a way. So it's always keeping you on your feet. It's always scaring you no matter what. But it's always making you want to have clues as to who's doing it, in hopes that at the end of the movie you finally unmask who it is. So it's pretty interesting. That's what I like about the trilogy, is the fact that it keeps you on your feet. It keeps you scared like it's supposed to. I've always been a big fan of Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox. I've always been a fan of the both of them. I've always been a fan of the actor who played Dewey Riley. I've always been a fan of his ever since I saw him in the first Scream movie. I've always been a big fan of them, especially Nev Campbell, because I've seen her in The Craft, and I've seen her in other various films as well. David Aquertment is his name, if I'm saying his last name right. I've always been a big fan of David, and I've also always been a big fan of Dylan Minetti. He was also the one who played in 13 Reasons Why and some other films, but he's mainly known for that series, and he's mainly known for other movies as well. So it's always been pretty cool to see old faces and new faces, and it's always interesting to see who the killer is, and it's always just kind of one of those murder mystery movies that I like. It's kind of my jam. I've always liked Halloween movies, but I've always been a Scream person because I've always liked the fact that it's both horror, but it's also got a murder mystery feel to it because you're always trying to figure out why it's coming after them, what's it want, who's behind the mask, what's the story this time. It's always leaving you guessing as to what's going on, and that's pretty cool for me anyways. That's what I like about it. There's not really much that I dislike about the film. There wasn't really much that I didn't like about it. And there wasn't really much I didn't like about Scream 5 either. I don't think this is one of those movies, one of those once in a blue moon movies that I don't really have anything particularly wrong with it. I've never had a problem with the storylines or the actors or the actresses. I've never had a problem with them. I've never really found much faulty in any of them. It's always been kind of cool to see the facts. It's just one of those movies that you could just fall in love with and not find really much faulties in them or not much problem with them. The cast and the cast got along with each other. They didn't really not like each other, which is really good because in any job, you're there to do your job no matter what, but it always makes it easier when you're getting along with the people you're working with and you work with them and not against them. You work equally. It may not be your ideal environment all the time, and you may always butt heads from time to time. But at the end of the day, you always find some sort of a way to meet them halfway and for them to meet you halfway and for you to work together and figure out a scene and not butt heads with each other. I think that's the one thing that some directors miss in movies is that they don't take the initiative to sit down and listen to the actor and listen to what they have to say because they're the ones that's bringing the character to life. They're the ones that are helping with the stunts and, getting the audience into suspense. But it's also good for the writers, too, to be involved and for them to sit down with the actors and talk to them and see what they can do with each script and, help them with their lines or see if there's something that they want to add or do differently. So it's always good for them, for the actor or actress, the screenwriter, and the director to be all on one page at the same time. Those are the three people you want to, especially the executive producers or the directors, I should say. You always want to have them on the same page, but those are the main three you really want to have on the same page too, because those are the ones that should have your back with anything. They're the ones that makes the environment and the work environment and the professional side of doing that, of doing movies and TV series. That's what I like about this. There has been a couple of times where there has been a couple of scripts written for who was going to be who as the killer a couple of times when I was reading the facts. So it's just been really interesting. It's a very interesting film. I have personally had the first four. I don't have number 5 yet, but I've seen number 5 on the Paramount app. Sorry. The Paramount Plus app. If you have that, go check it out. The Scream 5 movie's there. Go watch it. It's really good. Or if you are able to go to your theaters and it's still there, go check it out. It's a really good movie, really good suspenseful, really good story. Just generally all around good horror film. And you don't really find good horror films much, in my opinion. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss when it comes to horror films. There's not many good ones like that apart from Halloween. Halloween has had its moments where it's been hit or miss with that one. but some of the Halloween movies have been pretty good. Some of them have been kind of but not as good as the Scream movies have been. Um, so it's generally all around a good movie. I give it a 10 out of 10, all 10 stars in my opinion. Um, the storyline was good, the stunts were good, everything was good, and all of them. Um, especially seeing Neve Campbell be put through a lot and see her story unfold. That was interesting in even of itself. And it's pretty it also kind of gives you some a realistic vibe, because there's always somebody out there who's been through something like that, who has lived with that certain horror most of their lives, and they're having to recover from some sort of horrific event in their life, so it's been difficult for them to overcome it, and it just goes to show that you're stronger than you think. And I think Sydney Prescott gradually started to figure that out for herself, that you're going to experience loss with this, and it's going to hurt, but at the end of the day, you are stronger than you think. And even though you're scared to death by this person that wants to kill you, you're going to get through this one way or another. And you're going to live in the moment and live in the now and appreciate who you're with, appreciate your friends that you're with, because you never know what situation you're going to end up in. So I think that's what I like about that. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, leave a thumbs up for this episode, and also comment below what's your favorite Scream movie and what you liked about it, or what you dislike about Scream. Leave it in the comments below. If you are new to my channel and you like the kind of content that I put out on this channel, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified as to when I upload episodes and other videos in the future. Also, don't forget to go check out my 12 facts of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series. I list 12 facts. I talk about 12 facts in a short, simple video, and I kind of just talk about that a little bit. So go check it out. My next one will be about Charmed. My 12 facts will be about Charmed, and hopefully my next episode will either be historical or some type of review. I don't know yet, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, if you also want to stay up to more of date with everything and with Jessie's hangout, follow me on all of my social medias. They're linked in the description box below this episode. I hope you guys have an awesome afternoon, day, or night, wherever you are watching this from or listening to this from. And I will catch you guys in my next episode later.